So I have with me today a Walther P22. It's a pink gun, and whenever people see it, they always say, "Oh, that's your wife's gun." No, this is my gun. I bought this for me. I am manly enough to shoot a pink gun, and I bought it because I do a lot of concealed carry classes. And in our concealed carry classes, we cater to new shooters, and we let new shooters shoot 14 different handguns in 7 different calibers, and it's to get the idea of what they might want to own when they get into guns, because most concealed carry classes, the assumption is you already own a gun. Well, if you already own a gun, you already know most of this stuff. We're trying to cater to folks who don't. So anyway, this is the gun we start everybody off on, the Walther P22. It shoots really easy. It's really easy to shoot. It's ambidextrous, which means a lefty or a righty can shoot it. So a lefty, you can reach your safety, you can reach your hammer, you can reach your magazine release, right? Switch hands, safety, magazine release, hammer. Everything can be reached with either hand. So it's kind of nice. I like these guns. I recommend them to people. But anybody I've ever known that bought one, the first thing they say to me is, "Boy, oh boy, that thing is a bear to take apart." Some people can't even figure out how to take it apart. So I want to do a quick video of how to take it apart today. And what I want to start with is to make sure you know, number one, this black switch here on the bottom of the trigger guard, that's your magazine release. You rotate this down. Okay, you rotate that down, it ejects the magazine. This guy has a magazine disconnect. What that means is it is completely inert if you drop the magazine. Okay, not a fan of that for a self-defense gun, but I don't use this for self-defense. Well, anyway, so let's start by locking our slide back. Then you've got this tab you pull down here. Okay, it's a little tab. You pull it down. It'll click down. There's your downward position. Okay, and once you've got that down, that actually allows your slide to go back a little further than normal. Okay, just a little further than normal, and you'll lift up. Okay, you'll lift up, and you'll bring that slide forward and slide it over and off the gun. Okay, so there's your slide, and there's your spring and your guide rod, and then there's your barrel and your lower, your grip, whatever you want to call it. Okay, and this is it. This is field strip for cleaning. That's all you're going to do. And so you'll clean this thing up. And I recently cleaned this. It's actually fairly oily. But you'll clean this thing up, and you'll brush your barrel, and you'll do everything you need to do, and you'll get it ready for reassembly. And most people, they can do that. And where they have trouble reassembling it is this spring. Okay, this spring is a real, the best word I can use for it's nightmare. It's a real nightmare for some folks, and so I'm not going to tell you it's the best way, but I'm going to tell you it's how I do it. So here's how I reassemble my Walther P22. I take this spring and I put it in to the slide, okay, and I compress it. So we're going to take this spring and we're going to compress it into the slide and push it, well, except when you do that, always when I'm on camera. We're going to compress this into the hole in the slide that it normally would stick out of. Okay, so we're going to compress this guy in, and once we get it sticking through, that's where the magic happens. Okay, so compress this till it's sticking through, and I'm going to grab it. Okay, show you what that looks like on the bottom side. So I've grabbed that spring and I'm holding it, and you got to have the grip strength to do this. Now, you slide your barrel into your grip, and when you get just the tip of that barrel sticking through, you can let go of this. Okay, and it's there now. You're good. Okay, it's there, and what you got to do is wiggle this around until you get it into the hole it's supposed to go into under the barrel, and that's the fun part. But this is the easiest way I know. You heard it snap into place. Now you slide your slide back, you push it down, and let it go forward. Voila, reassembled. Okay, so you grab that spring and you hold it till you get the barrel just through the slide, then you let it go, and again, that's the easiest way I know. And of course you got to make sure you don't forget and leave this down, because then if you go to rack your slide, you might accidentally pull your gun apart. That's a good way to freak out on the range. Your gun just comes apart in your hand. So make sure you snap that back up. Okay. And the last thing I always do when I reassemble a gun, always, is I'll do a function check. Make sure the gun actually goes off. Slide locks back like it's supposed to. Okay, that's just my quick way to make sure that I didn't put it back together wrong. Okay, but that's how you reassemble a Walther P22. It's a great gun for beginners. It has a very small grip. I've never met a shooter, young kids, females, even most men. This grip size is just perfect. It's a little small if you've got big hands, but for most people, it's just a great fit. It's comfortable. Like I said, it's ambidextrous, and so if you have a lefty, they can reach this magazine release with their left thumb, just like I can reach it with my right thumb. Okay, they can reach the trigger. My oldest son loves this gun. He shoots it a lot. He's 12 at the time, and it fits him really well because he's still a little kid, you know. My wife's 5 foot nothing, and she loves this gun. It fits her hand really well. And it's a great gun to practice with. It's got really nice sights. It's got 3-dot white sights. So it's a great way to practice, you know, your sight alignment. It's a great way to practice your trigger control. And of course, it's 22 long rifle, so the ammo's cheap. It is a pink gun, but I'm okay with that. These also come in black, and so if you don't want a pink gun, you can get them in black. The funny story is our local gun store pretty much sells only to men. There's very few women in our area that buy handguns, and they bought this gun off the distributor, and it sat in the case for over a year, and they couldn't move it. And they marked the price way down just to get it out of their case so they could make room for another gun. And I came in and saw it and said, "Oh man, that's a good price, I'll take it." And the guy says, "Are you sure?" And so anyway, now I own a pink gun. But it's a great gun. I highly recommend it. I like it because it has a lot of the features that a full-size gun has. A lot of your 22s, like your Ruger 1020, your Ruger Mark 3s and Mark 4s, your Smith & Wesson Victory, your Beretta, they don't have all the features of a standard 22 or of a standard semi-auto. Like this guy has a slide lock. And so you can practice either A, thumbing that down, or B, when you put in a fresh magazine, doing your overhand release. You can't practice that with most 22s, so I really like this gun. I also like that it's got that long double action trigger pull, and so you can really train yourself to give a good squeeze of the trigger. A lot of people jerk the trigger and they can't hit their target because of that. Squeeze that trigger, and you can always tell by watching the hammer. If you've got a hammer fired gun and the hammer snaps back real quick, you jerked the trigger. Okay, you see the gun move when I do that versus when I squeeze. Okay, that nice steady squeeze, the gun tends to stay put. Okay, it doesn't move as much. You become a better shot when you practice with a gun like this. So anyway, that's my Walther P22. That's the way I disassemble and reassemble it. If you have questions or you want to see a video, shoot me a message. I'll be glad to help.